Thank fucking God, man. Thank God we got the ending we got, because this card was on paper looking like the worst card of the year. Matchups wise, even before the fight card started. Results wise, people were getting slammed out. All the favorites lost, it feels like, on this card. This was looking to be one of, if not the worst cards of all time. But hey, man, we did it. Yes, we did it. We corrected the course. Islam Makhachev has broken Anderson Silva's record of a 17-fight win streak. Man, it feels good. Man, it feels good to be able to say, fuck John Jones. Islam Makhachev is the GOAT of the sport. So today we're going to be going over some of the fights, some of the results, and mainly the fights to make after UFC 330. So what's next for all these fighters? Starting off with the main event. Islam Makhachev puts the paws on Ian Garry and wins a crafty 48-47 decision, as was my prediction. You know, my cat's climbing up my chair. Shout out to Snoopy. I was expecting Ian Garry to win 1 or 2 rounds off of Islam Makhachev. I knew they were going to be close rounds. The takedown wasn't going to be as definitive as it was against JDM, as it was when he was at 155. Holding guys down at the welterweight division is just way harder. Islam Makhachev said it himself, right? Getting submissions off way harder. He had a really nice head kick in round 2. Was not expecting that. You know, fuck it. Throw up enough of them as a prayer. One of them's got to land. But man, he just looked... You know, he was worrying us at times. Us, you know, we were all low-key shitting bricks for Islam Makhachev in this fight. I think he dropped the 3rd and perhaps the 4th rounds to Ian Garry on one of the judges' scorecards. But Islam Makhachev looked great. He was grappling Ian really well against the fence. He used his trips. He had a really nice takedown in the 3rd round, I believe. I believe it was a judo takedown, like a hip toss, right? And it was good. I mean, he was able to maintain his own on the feet. He was able to defend most of the stuff Ian Garry was throwing at him. The oblique kicks looked like a real problem. The body kicks, you know, it's always been a weakness of Islam Makhachev. What have been the kicks to the body. When they're in the clinch, we saw against Dustin Poirier, he was able to open up against Islam's body. And Ian did the same. I believe it was round 2. But overall, man, good performance from Islam Makhachev. I really needed this win, because this card was treating me so bad as an MMA fan. And I'm sure a lot of you guys as well. I was getting cooked, bro. My topology that shit looks like a battlefield out there. It's really bad. And I needed Makhachev to win. I've been one of the people that have been pushing the Makhachev is the GOAT debate. I've been pushing that he's better than John Jones, even ignoring the steroids. His resume is stronger, this and that. And I think this Ian Garry win, a win over a young welterweight sized guy that has a really good resume. You know, Ian Garry beating Carlos Prates is probably up next. Ian Garry beating Belal Muhammad by decision. Ian Garry going to the decision with Shavkat, arguably ruining the rest of Shavkat's career. Hopefully not, I hope he comes back. But yeah, man, it was a really great win. And I think next for Makhachev is Prates. And this probably scares a lot of people, because Prates has a lot more power than Ian Garry on the feet. He's a lot craftier. But we saw how low output Ian Garry was. At the end of the fight, he didn't even look gassed. And I think it was because he was just so hesitant on the feet. Can't open up against this guy because you're afraid of the takedown. The Makhachev threat of the takedown is just way too elite to just freely open up and just flow. And that's what Carlos Prates does best when he gets into his rhythm. Hands down, flowing. And again, the hands down is going to be good against Makhachev, because you're going to want to keep those hands low to get the underhooks, to dig for, to get a hand under there when you sprawl a takedown. But man, I think Makhachev gets a win over Carlos Prates, either retires on top or fuck it, go up to middleweight and fight Sean Strickland or DDP for the middleweight belt. Some dumb shit like that. But Makhachev getting a win over Prates next, I believe that's what needs to happen. Carlos Prates, again, he would pose the threat on the feet. I think Islam Makhachev got this fight, alright? As for Ian Garry, right? Morales needs a fight, man. I think this guy's been out for over a year, substantially over a year at this point. He's weighed in for several number one contender fights. I think he's weighed in for a number one contender fight and this title fight. He was supposed to be the backup. But I think Ian Garry versus Morales would be a good fight. Ian Garry didn't take that much damage. You saw at the end of the fight, Islam looked a lot worse for wear. And we know Islam's going to take a year off anyway. So get Ian Garry back in there. He's going to be ready 2-3 months. Average Ian Garry turnaround. Get him in there against Morales, man. It would be a really interesting fight, because I do think a lot of the tools that Ian Garry was able to use against Prates, he would maybe struggle a bit more against Morales. Morales, we've seen, we saw in that Sean Brady fight, which is really the only information we have on him versus high level opponent is Morales versus Brady, because he did fight what's his name? He did fight Dorino, Gilbert Burns, but he was at the tail end of his career. So I think Garry versus Morales is the next matchup to make. You could argue that Morales just deserves to go and just wait for the next title shot. I mean, if you value those wins over Gilbert Burns and Sean Brady that much. But I think the UFC values activity. We've seen, they reward Ian Garry for his activity. They're going to reward Carlos Prates for his activity. Down at featherweight, they rewarded Diego Lopez twice for his activity. So I think Ian Garry versus Morales determine who the number one contender fighter is. I think if Morales wins, he gets the next title shot. If Garry wins, I'd be surprised if they do like an Islam rematch. Maybe Islam retires. They do Garry and Carlos Prates for the interim. Something like that. All right, that should be the next matchup. Good fight for me and Garry. If he had let go more on the feet, if he was higher output, he would have, risked the takedowns more. But I think he could have had a really good shot. Seeing his performance, seeing how he was able to put a couple type of strikes were able to land really well on Islam, I think he'd do well in a rematch. But hopefully we never get to see that shit. All right, on to the next fighter. Now the co-main event: Mackenzie Dern versus Jillian Robertson. Oh man. I enjoy women's MMA fights. I know that's a crazy thing to say as an MMA YouTuber, but these fights are interesting when these girls get into jiu-jitsu scraps, and when sometimes these girls just be beating the shit out of each other like the rock'em sock'em robots on the feet, and that's entertaining. Just the last fight card, I think the opening fight or the second fight of the card was like a fight of the night women's MMA bout, and it was crazy. It was super entertaining, but this fight was so boring. I think you could give one round to Jillian Robertson. You could maybe give her the fifth. But Dern was just able to get going. She looked better than Jillian on the feet, which is crazy. She was able to get her takedowns nearly at will, which makes me feel, man, how good is Verna Jandiroba? Like, she was doing really well defending the Mackenzie Dern takedown. So, I guess, yeah, Mackenzie Dern, she wins it again. She defends her fluky-ass belt. Weili got to come back and show these girls who's the queen, man. I miss having Weili in the division. I know she's kind of like moved on to better things or safer endeavors, but I want Weili back. She's one of the most entertaining, if not the most current entertaining women's fighters, up there with Valentina Shevchenko outside of her blob performance against Weili, and what's her name, what's her name up there, the big girl. But yeah, man, she's one of the most entertaining fighters. I'd love to see her back in there, and I would definitely pick Weili even now in the current state she's in to beat Mackenzie Dern. All right, and for Jillian Robertson, give her Yang Xiaonan, bro. Another victim of fucking Zhang Weili's another Zhang Weili victim is Yang Xiaonan. Give her Jillian Robertson. I mean, Jillian Robertson's on a loss. Yang Xiaonan just got a win recently. These divisions are a little bit shallow. Not really much to do in the way of matchups that are like super interesting, super fucking hype. But give me this matchup. It's just what's next in the division. It would be a matchup on the feet, which I'm excited for. And I would favor Yang Xiaonan. I just really like the Asian... these Asian girls have low-key sneaky power in the division. It's Yang Xiaonan, Zhang Weili, and another girl I can't think of right now. But she has like a really strong left hook. Reminds me of Pereira. Very peak, alright? Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for these Asian girls in these lighter weight classes, alright? On to the next fighter. Jalen Turner gets it done now. This was one of the easiest fights to predict on the card. Jalen Turner versus Kaue Fernandes. Kaue had never fought anyone remotely close to the level of Jalen Turner. Even if Jalen Turner has been a streaky fighter, I think it's been more mental than physical. And since he's come back, he looked really good. He looks like replenished, rejuvenated, so to speak, even if he's young. And to go from Harry Hardwick to Jalen Turner is just a death sentence, man. And dealing with the height advantage, the reach advantage, the leg reach advantage of Jalen Turner, Kaue, he's a striker, man. He's going to get outstruck at range, is what I said in my predictions video. Your Kaue Fernandes, your game is to, pitter-patter at range, leg kick, head kick, body kick, throw out the long 1-2s. Jalen Turner's better than you at that. You're going to lose that fight. You're going to have to mix it up somehow, and I knew he didn't have it in him, all right? So Jalen Turner on a win. Faraz Ziam coming off of a loss. Get these guys up against each other. Winner of this fight gets a top 15, a chance at the top 15 rankings. Maybe someone like super low or someone coming off a loss. Maybe Moicano comes off a loss. We can do a Jalen Turner rematch because that first fight at UFC 300... that was nearly, if Turner was just 2 IQ points smarter and followed up with the ground and pound, we would have seen a finish at that fight. So let me get Turner versus Ziam. These guys are like, physically wise, they're on a very similar level. I think they both have really good endurance for the division. If this fight goes into the later rounds, I would favor Ziam, maybe by a late finish. But early, Jalen Turner's so dangerous. All of his finishes have come within the 2 rounds, and he gets a lot of finishes, all right? Give me Jalen Turner versus Fares Ziam. And on to another French fighter, man. Axel Sola. Axel Sola versus Kawi Fernandes. I mean, this might be overkill for Kawi, but I don't really value him as a prospect. I don't think this guy is anything to write home about. He's not anything I'm super excited. Like, I don't think we need to keep Kawi. You know, don't protect this guy. You know, protect this guy at all costs. He's not a guy that has impressed me. You know, he has strong leg kicks, but then again, it was against Harry Hardwick. I guess this is just another chance to build up Sola. Kawi Fernandes off of a loss. Axel Sola, I believe, is coming off of 2 wins, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, man, showing love to my French fighters. I don't really like the French usually, but shout out to BSD. Shout out to Ziam, I guess. I mean, Ziam, you know, he's French. He was born and raised in France. But I have a soft spot in my heart for, like, these immigrants. You know, in Spain, like, French immigrants. In Spain, like, Spanish immigrants, people that come from the outside. Or in France, immigrants, you know. I fuck with these guys heavy, alright? Give me Kawi Fernandes versus Axel Sola. Again, another fight I think Sola would win. But the French would win, you know. But this time I think he would win by mixing it up. Sola is he establishes the threat of the takedown a lot better. And although Fernandes might be a little bit better on the feet, depends on who you ask. You know, depends on which side of the bed I wake up on. You know, I'm not willing to die on that hill. He's not as a well-rounded mixed martial artist as Axel Sola. Give me Axel Sola to win this by a easy 30-27 decision. Alright? Fernandes versus Axel Sola. Put this on a French card. Put this on a Rio de Janeiro card. It don't matter. Give me this fight. Inject it into my veins. Alright? On to the next fight. Abdul Malik lets me down once more. Twice in a row now, brother. It's twice in a row. You know, honestly, this loss is a little bit more excusable than the last one, in my opinion. Mostly because he trained. I didn't know he trained with what's this guy's name? I already forgot his name. I didn't know he trained with him. Oh, Stoltzfus, right? I didn't know he trained with Stoltzfus in the past. You know, maybe that would have swayed my opinion. Maybe I'm just coping. But Abdul Malik, man, he's on a 2-fight loss streak. Tresean Gore, his record is so abysmal, but this guy just manages to keep on winning. He looked so good in that fight, in his fight against Vicente Luque. I was not expecting that elite submission defense, bro. This guy really got it like that. He survived a Darce choke from Vicente Luque. And Vicente Luque, man, how are you like the GOAT of Anaconda and Darce chokes? You get one and you don't go for the legs. Like that takes away at least like 30-40% of the squeeze that you can put on. If you guys have ever done jiu-jitsu, ever, you know, just I don't know, ever put a Darce choke on one of your homies for the, you know, for the fuck of it, you know, maybe the baddies were nearby, you had to put them in a front headlock choke. You know that you grabbing either an arm with your legs, you know, doing some sort of thing with your legs and getting a hold of the other person, making sure they're not able to rotate, making sure they're not able to like come parallel with you, because, you know, Darce chokes, Anaconda chokes, you want to be parallel with the person until you're going for the finish. Darce chokes, the more perpendicular you are, you know, you're hitting that 90 degrees on them, you're getting a leg, you're grabbing an arm, you're making sure they can't spin out of it. That's how the choke gets put on. And this fucking guy, Vicente Luque, has a perfect grip. He has his whole bicep grasp, right? He has the whole figure 4 locked up, and he doesn't go for the leg. He doesn't go for the arm, right? Professional white belt speaking here. Bro, go hook the fucking leg. I was screaming at my television, acting like I'm prime, you know, Abdul Manap out here. But yeah, man, I think putting these guys up against each other, they took a good amount of damage, so they're probably going to come back in 5-6 months, depending on how active they want to be. I think put them against each other, this is black on black violence, but bro, one guy, you know, who's tatted prospect, looking amazing, on a streak. Other guy has been counted against, you know, myself included. I've picked against him in both of his last fights. He's chopped. Put them against each other and see who gets to live, man. Who gets to live? Because Tresean Gore has earned his next contract. I don't know when his contract was due, but he's definitely earned it. Abdul Malik, you're looking... The UFC has given you 2 layups, and you weren't able to finish them early. So, it's looking rough for you, buddy. Alright, gotta lock in. Give me Abdul Malik versus Tresean Gore on the next... Fuck, I don't know, the LA card. Alright? On to the next matchup. Esteban Ribovics takes out another unk in Edson Barboza. Now, I know we got some fans of Esteban Ribovics in the chat, but man, this guy fights so ass. I think I might put him on my list of like rogues members of the, like, not that I have anything against him personally, But Esteban Ribovics just fights like he's racist, man. This guy fights swinging everything from the hip, chin up in the air, looking like prime Paddy Pimblett. Like, he just looks like he fights like Paddy Pimblett if Paddy Pimblett was a little bit faster on the feet and had no ground game. This is Paddy Pimblett on the feet with no ground game and more power, basically. Right? And less chin. Basically, that's what we're dealing with Esteban Ribovics. The way he fights, he has a lot of heart. He has good power, I guess, for the division. You know, he's had really good fights. He gave us a fight of the year at the Sphere against, I forgot the guy's name. But I just don't like seeing him again. I need to see him against a clean striker in his prime. I think Barboza in his prime would have absolutely dismantled Ribovics. And I don't really have anything against Ribovics. I just hate guys that fight like him. If you're going to fight like Esteban Ribovics, I don't want to see you anywhere near a main card. You know what I mean? I love having these fighters that are scrappers. You know, the Terrence McKinney types. Let me think. Terrence McKinney types, the fucking, Mateusz Rebecki, my Polish goat. I love seeing these fighters fight. So entertaining to have these scrappers just go crazy every card. But I don't want to see you near a main card because you're tricking people, bro. You a scam artist. You're not that good. You're not good. You don't deserve to be in the top 15. Got slammed out Mateusz Gamrot, right? They gave you a layup matchup against Barboza. Now you're talking about give me someone in the top 15. Sit your ass down, bro. Alright? You're getting Manuel Torres. Winner of you two can get another shot into the top 15. Manuel Torres was ranked for a little bit. I don't know if he's still ranked in the media or AI rankings. I think Manuel Torres, dismantles Ribovics over 3 rounds. There's always a chance of a Ribovics chinning of Manuel Torres, right? For sure. We can't discount that. But I think this fight's interesting. Is going to be able to see if, Ribovics can lock in with the striking defense or if he's just going to wing punches. But just look at Ribovics' face, man. He looks like Nemo. Bro, no, he looks like Nemo. He looks like Dory off of Finding Nemo. Like, he looks like there's no thoughts in that cranium of him except, like, swinging haymakers from the hip. Alright? So, Ribovics versus Torres. Put this on the next Mexico card. Torres is from there. And the Mexicans would love to see an Argentinian get slammed out. If that happens. Alright? On to the next matchup. Not even a matchup. I got these guys together. Barboza, Luque. It's time to enjoy bingo in the retirement home, alright? That squirrel is me, bro. He trying to ignore the pain in his heart. Watching that Barboza retirement, I had genuine tears in my eyes. Now, I'm not one of these guys that tries to hold back his emotions watching the UFC, watching the movie. You will catch a motherfucker crying, alright? I will let a tear, or 2 or 3. I will let them tears flow if it calls for it, if the moment calls for it. And Barboza retirement, man, that shit was probably the saddest thing I've seen all year. My voice getting quaky just thinking about it, man. I work so hard for... He was hitting the Pantoja lines out there, when Pantoja won. I work so hard every day. Ah, man. Barboza might go. They can never make me hate you, man. This guy, he was never going to win a belt. He was always a one-dimensional striker with okay takedown defense in his prime. Got slammed out by Khabib. Got slammed out by, almost every person that got to the belt. And Vicente Luque was also there, I guess. Submission artist. Didn't retire. I don't know why. But man, it's time to go. It's time to let it go. Barboza already retired. Vicente Luque. If you're getting that Darce choke locked up in the perfect position, like I said when I was talking about Trishan Gore, if you're getting that Darce choke locked up and you're not finishing it, and that's been your whole career, something's wrong, bro. Check engine light is on, my brother. You're looking at your car's dashboard, your metaphorical car's dashboard. All the little lights are on. It's time to let it go. All right, it's over. Barboza and Luque, retirement, please. Luque, do it unceremoniously on Instagram, I don't care. Or get one last fight against another unk. And just let it go. Alright? On to the next matchup. Joel motherfucking Alvarez, bro. Oh my god. Joel Alvarez, Miktabek Orolbai. I'll get to him, don't worry. And Islam Makhachev. My whole existence, my whole happiness. Like, guys, you have to understand. I don't know, for those of you guys who are new here, I record these videos at 6 a.m. in the fucking morning. Okay? This card's over. Right now I'm recording this. It's 6:46 in the morning. And I'm recording this shit talking about Joel Alvarez didn't shoot a single takedown against Chidi Njokuani, who's a Muay Thai specialist. That's all he does. Bro. Joel Alvarez gets put against Yaroslav Amosov. Absolute killer. 28-1 in his career. Right? He's only lost one time. He lost one time 3 fights ago by fluke knockout. It is what it is. The UFC's like, sorry, my brother. I know we gave you a hard-ass fight. Let us make it up to you. Let's give you Chidi Njokuani, substantially older than you, right? Slower than you striking. You know, he's a Muay Thai specialist. This is your fight to lose. You're going to win this fight if you shoot 1 takedown per round. And this motherfucker goes out there and shoots no takedowns. I swear to God, there was not a single correctly shot takedown for the entire 3 rounds. Not even a snatch single was attempted. If I'm remembering this right, there wasn't even a snatch single attempted. Joel, I'm not going to lie, you're my countryman. I'm Spanish. For you guys, I don't really have an accent, but I'm Spanish. I love Joel Alvarez, just because he represents my country. I like his fighting style. He's long, lanky. I like how he fights most of the time. But if you lose this fight against Chris Curtis, the action man, I'm giving you someone who, if you fight the exact same way you fought against Chidi Njokuani, you're winning. Okay? No surprise, Chris Curtis is the GOAT. The absolute GOAT of winning 29-28 decisions. Losing 29-28 decisions. Joel Alvarez, go out there, maintain the range, outstrike Chris Curtis for 3 rounds, and finally get back in the win column. Please, I'm begging you. For the love of God, lock in. And if you ever get a matchup again, like Chidi Njokuani, a layup matchup, or you as a mixed martial artist, allegedly, right? As an alleged mixed martial artist, can just shoot a takedown and win the fight, please shoot the takedown. For the love of God. Alright? On to the next matchup before I get too mad. Charles Johnson. Oh my God. Gets a fucking twister finish in the UFC. Who is this guy, man? Kawhi Leonard. Who are you, man? Well, I'm Kawhi Leonard. This fucking guy, Charles Johnson, gets a submission twister victory in the UFC in the 2nd round, I'm pretty sure. Insane behavior. Most active fighter in the UFC currently. Bro's like 38. I don't know how old Charles Johnson is. Looks amazing. His 3rd round in that fight. This old ass dude in this division, flyweight division, where guys don't turn old, right? Acting like they die out there. Guys don't turn old in the flyweight division and still do well. He was doing great. And honestly, man, at this point in time, Charles Johnson has a win over Sumo Dereji. And Sumo Dereji is higher than him in the rankings. So just motherfucking put Charles Johnson back up there. Get a rematch. I think they fought in 2023. It's been 3 years. Fuck it, bro. Give him a rematch. He looked really good. I love Charles Johnson's boxing. He's looked really good on the ground. He's really go ahead with his submissions. He has good scrambles. He just takes opportunities when they're presented to him. Yes, it was against a short notice opponent. And I will be picking what's the guy's name? Ochoa. I don't know. No, Ochoa was his first opponent. I forget. I will be picking that guy to win his next fight because, as we all know, losing to Charles Johnson is the best base for a flyweight prospect. But yeah, man, give me Charles Johnson versus Sumo Dereji. Put this shit wherever you want to put it. Give me this in like 2 months when Charles Johnson's ready because this fucking guy's crazy with the activity. And yeah, man, let's see that fight. Now, on to what I gotta talk about. Jeremiah Wells. If you ever come to the greater Barcelona area, to the Barcelona metropolitan area, you will become a campfire story. What you've done has banned you from New Orleans, right? Has banned you from Kyrgyzstan, Spain, Japan, most of the U.S. Jeremiah Wells, I hope this guy gets 24-hour security around him at all times because this guy should not be allowed to see the light of day without 13 bodyguards surrounding him. Put this man against prime Francis Ngannou and John Jones under a little bit of the drink. Horny John Jones, John Jones under the influence, John Jones after a weekend of cocaine against Jeremiah Wells and Ngannou. You're getting touched, brother. I'm putting you in there against the prime ultimate buddy fucking booty snatcher combo. You're getting put behind bars. You're dropping the soap. What you did to Makhachev Orolbai is unforgivable, man. Makhachev Orolbai was winning 2 rounds decisively, threatening submissions, right? Dominating in the grappling, getting pieced up on the feet, but it's okay. That's our go. It happens. They didn't teach head moving back in the Neolithic era. Snatches up a tight-ass ninja choke after rocking Makhachev Orolbai. Makhachev Orolbai is too wobbled to know what to do, too wobbled to defend it. And he gets put out, man. He gets put out cold. Like the warrior he is, Makhachev Orolbai goes out cold. That's my go. Alright, Makhachev Orolbai. You know what? It's just AI. I don't know why I'm stressing so much when we've seen what artificial intelligence can do, man. This result is artificial intelligence. Makhachev Orolbai. He's gonna fight Santiago Ponzinibbio. Bro, trying to ignore it. He trying to ignore the fact that he's gonna get slimed. Santiago Ponzinibbio, I got no love for you, my brother. Alright, you've been a good commentator, but you're Argentinian. No, you've been a good commentator, but you're washed, and I need my GOAT Orolbai to get another win. We need Orolbai to slime out Santiago Ponzinibbio. Please, for the love of God, just make this an easy fight, brother. I know Santiago's long. Alright, I know he has a crafty front kick to the body. Orolbai, you had an AI matchup, you know, similar. We've had a couple of these AI matchups. We've had the Pereira versus Ankalaev 1. We've had Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg. We've had Volkanovski versus Islam 2. Right? We've had Elio Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. We've had a lot of AI matchups. Another one now tied to the list. Orolbai versus Jeremiah Wells. That shit did not happen. Anyone commenting anything about Orolbai versus Jeremiah Wells, you're getting banned from my channel, brother. I don't know if that's a threat or, you know, if I'm threatening you with a good time because my channel is dog shit. But you're getting blocked, bro. I cannot fathom. First fight on the card, because this motherfucker, tell me why Orolbai is as big of a star as he is. He was arguably, you know, on Topology, he was like 17th ranked welterweight in the world. Tell me why this man is opening up the card. Do not let me see this man anywhere near an early prelim ever again. I want to see Orolbai either headlining the prelims or on the main card. Or headlining a fucking main event of a fight night in Kyrgyzstan. I don't care. Don't put this man ever near another early prelim fight. Don't put this guy ever against the power puncher. Alright, we need Orolbai to have an easy path to the belt. Please. Alright, Orolbai versus Santiago. Set the universe straight. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think about the Islam fight? What do you think about the AI matchup of Jeremiah Wells versus Makhachev Orolbai? There were low-key only 2 good fights on this card. Like 2 fights that before we were excited about. It was seeing Orolbai and you was seeing Islam. You know, some of you guys might say you were excited to see Malik. You're lying. I was excited to see the original Charles Johnson matchup. You know, the second fight, the fight that ended up happening was a banger. But I was more excited for the Johnson versus Ochoa. Would have been cool. But yeah, man, what a shit fucking card. Nearly 7 a.m. in the morning recording this bitch ass video. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go to sleep, man. Ciao, ciao.